Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Greenville, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Greenville, Texas. On every episode, Tanisha Denny will share Greenville's story through the stories of people who call Greenville home. This is Heart of Greenville.
Thank you so much for watching Heart of Greenville. I asked my friend Jessica Pope to come on the show. Not only is she an incredible businesswoman, but she's a wonderful mom. And I wanted you to meet the person behind the scenes and in front of the scenes for the core and the Sunshine Shop. Here's my conversation with Jessica Pope. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. Hey y'all, this is Tanisha Denny, your host of Heart of Greenville, and we are sitting at the landmark on Lee Street on the 3rd floor at the Landing with my dear sweet friend, Miss Jessica Pope. How are you today, Jessica?
I'm good.
You had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, I did. I don't have my 3-year-old, so I'm really good today.
Oh wow, that's like freedom.
Yes, for a little bit.
Oh, well, we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to get to talk about you. And so I'm so excited that you came on the show. You and I go way back to the days when we were in college and we worked at Kinsey Abstract and Sabine Title Company.
Yes.
And you had to put those packages together.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes. Well, and I started as like the gopher too. So by the time you got there, that's when I had worked my way up to packages.
I will never forget those days, though. You were working packages. I was learning how to be Paige's assistant as the escrow officer, and the conversations we would have.
Yes, all the conversations.
Yes, and that was right before you got married, you and Levi. In fact, I started like 2 weeks before that, and somehow you managed to get an invitation in my hands because I did get to come to your wedding.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So what year was that?
2003.
Was it? Okay. I couldn't remember exactly when it was.
Yes, 2003. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we have lots of fun memories. So I'm excited for people to get to know you. And it's so cool to see where you've grown from being in those college classes and then now owning 2 businesses, not just one, but having the Sunshine Shop and having the core. And so let's just kind of start more from the beginning. I think you and Levi have one of the sweetest stories. So why don't we start there? Let's talk about you and Levi.
Okay. We went to high school together at Greenville Christian, and it just always, we fit. We always fit. And we got married when I was in college, and he was about to graduate, and we've just always been very much in love. Like, we're very fortunate to have a marriage that's very much about love, and not just friendship. Like, we are in love with one another, which is really sweet.
You really are. And that's one of the things I love. I can see the two of you, and you both, after all of these years of being married, still have that sweet admiration and true, genuine love for each other. And you've gone through a lot over the course of your marriage. It's not been all rainbows and sunshine.
No. I don't know that any marriage ever is. And I think it only gets sweeter whenever you do go through those bumpy patches. I mean, just because that grows you. And you have to love that person now because you understand even more, like, they're flawed and they love you because you're flawed. And that's what's really wonderful.
What do you think's been the key all these years? Because I mean, we're still really young, and for you guys to have been married this long.
Yeah. I honestly, he's the key. He loves me better than I think anybody ever could love a person. And I think that love comes really from, he understands how God loves him. And so he's able to love me in that very sacrificial way. And because I see that, I'm able to, I guess, kind of do a mirror image back to him on it. It really is constantly sacrificing for the other all the time, and giving 100%. Both people have to give 100%, because one person is never going to give 100% all the time. So you can't meet 50-50. It has to be 100% all the time.
It does seem like sometimes one spouse is pulling more of the weight,
of course,
than the other one.
Yes.
And then when that one falls back and life happens, then the other one picks up that slack and keeps
Most
that
definitely.
going. And you guys have 3 precious kiddos.
Yeah. We have Jack, who is about to be 15 in a few weeks and is in driver's ed, which I know y'all just did
We
that.
just finished
and
all
oh my
that.
gosh, it's a mess.
We have
and
to watch out for the roads, like
girl.
in the next year.
In fact, I think we're going to need to get all of our boys on that Life 360 or whatever, so
Yes.
we know where they are on the road and we can go the other way.
We all need each other's kids on the Life 360.
Yes.
That's how we'll keep up with them.
Yes. So he is about to be 15, and then Addie is 12 and going to be president someday.
I can see that.
Yes. She'll go right after. She can probably be Davin's vice president and then be president after he served both his terms.
So funny. He actually put on that T-shirt yesterday and came
Oh.
out of his room that it says Denny for president.
Does that still fit?
Somehow, that was 5th grade,
Yeah.
and that shirt still fit. He looked like he was sucking in. I was like, "Are you sucking in? 'Cause I think you're sucking in." He's like, "No, I can't put my arms down."
Yeah.
That's funny. You remember
Yeah.
that? Yes, David Denny plans to be president someday.
Addie will follow in line.
She could be his vice president. That's perfect, and then
Yeah.
she can take over after that. And
Listen, the world will be a much better place. Y'all, we just got to wait a few more years.
yes.
And then we have our 3-year-old. So 10 years later,
Aw.
almost 10 years later, and we decided to do it again and start all over. And so he keeps us busy.
What made you decide to do that? You had 2 kids that were a lot older, and then you decided that it was
Well, so honestly, it wasn't a decision. So we actually had a surprise pregnancy, and it was a little shocking because we weren't ready for that. We weren't even considering having more kids, but we lost that baby.
I'm
And-
so sorry for that.
yeah.
I remember you going through that, and
That was very difficult, but it was also, it's hard to not almost be grateful for it because while we would have loved to have that baby, because we got pregnant and had that surprise pregnancy, it changed kind of this idea of what we wanted for our family. We thought we were done, and it was God saying, "No, you're not." And so then we tried for Henry, and so we got pregnant with him in 2016, and had him in 2017.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And he's such a blessing.
Oh man, he is our little darling. I mean, he is everything to everybody in the family. So I can't even imagine us being a family without him now.
And he's such a spitting image of Jack.
Oh gosh. Yes, it's like I gave birth to the same child twice.
It feels that way for me because I was there with Jack as he was growing up. And so I'm like, Jack, Henry.
I know.
Like, I
I mean,
wanna
I
call
call
him.
him. Yeah, I know. I call him Jack all the time. And I mean, what's so weird is we look at pictures, and Henry thinks all the pictures of Jack at his age are him. And I mean, we can't convince him otherwise. Okay.
Well, it'll be fun. It's fun watching him grow up, and we'll see if he still looks like Jack
Yes.
whenever he gets older.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for it though, because with Jack, I mean, we have 3 more years with him at home, and I'm like, I feel like God knew what he was doing by giving me a little replica, because not that it makes it any easier, but at least, I know I have my little guy still because Jack is my sweetheart. He's the hugging one. I mean, he will just come up and put his arm around me. He still tells me he loves me all the time. And so I just can't imagine when that's going to be gone.
Maybe we're not going to lose that because David's the same way.
Oh, I hope not.
So maybe we did something right
Yes,
raising them.
I think so. They're both good boys.
Oh, well, you're such a great mom. You've worked so hard, to be the example that they need to be, to have the rules, but give them the leverage that they need. And so I think you've done a fantastic
Thank
job.
you.
So
Thank you.
I always tell my kids, like, listen, I'm doing the best I can do. Okay, this is the best you've
That's
got.
right.
Okay, and
That's
if I messed you
right.
up, I'm sorry, but no, I think you're doing a
That's what
fantastic
therapy's
job.
for later.
That's true.
Or now.
Well, we've talked about your kids, and you're such a family mom. You're a mom, you're a wife, and family is so important to you. But you also run 2 other businesses. So
Yes.
let's talk about the story about the Sunshine Shop, the
Okay.
nutrition store.
Okay, so my Mimi and my Nina, so that's my grandmother, Linda Adams, and then my great-grandmother, Willie Joe Miller, who passed away in December
Oh,
at
I'm so
100.
sorry.
She passed away at 100. Yeah,
That's a blessing to get to live
yes.
to 100.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And I think it says a lot, too, for that healthy lifestyle of taking care of yourself proactively, and it leads to longevity. But anyways, they started the Sunshine Shop. My Mimi needed, Linda, She's my Mimi. Sorry.
You can call
I'm
her
just going to
Mimi.
keep
You've
calling her
already-
Mimi. Everybody, I think, calls her Mimi.
Listen,
too.
she's saved in my phone as Mimi.
Exactly. So she was a single mom and had 3 children and needed to support herself. And so she and my Nina opened up the Sunshine Shop. And it was just this small little store. It was before nutrition or, I mean, anything was cool or trendy. It was actually when it was considered kind of weird. And but they did an incredible job, and she always tells about how it's never been in the red. Like, it has always made money. It has always been successful. It may not have like been, like they were driving in, I don't know, whatever expensive car it was, but it always fed her family. And it got better and bigger as the trends, health trends improved. And then whenever I was born, my mother worked in the Sunshine Shop sometimes, but a lot of the times I was just in the shop because my mom was also a single mom, and so she was in school, and so my Mimi helped a lot with getting me and Matthew from school and home and dinner, and so I just was in the shop after school and then all throughout summers, and I would just follow my Mimi around, and I worked in the shop from a very young age. I mean, even when I was too young to run a cash register, I would tally up the receipts and do the end of the day, counting the cash box and stuff and doing the orders. And so I learned the business from a very young age, from like basically the lowest level. And I worked it, as a teenager. It was my summer jobs, and when I wasn't working at Kinsey. And
Well, even when you worked there, I feel like you had to leave and go at least help with inventory.
Yes.
I remember inventory was a big deal.
Yes, and I mean, honestly, the shop has always felt very much like it was mine, even when it was, I didn't officially own it. But there always has been this feeling of ownership over it because it's been such a part of my family. It supported my family, and so it's just so dear that I made sure that, if anybody needed help in the shop, that I could be there for it. So I went to college, and got a degree in business, and told my Mimi I wanted to own the shop. I wanted to buy it from her, and we were poor. I mean, we had just gotten married a year before that. There was no way we could buy a business. And so she said, okay. In fact, she actually wanted she wanted more for me than what she had. She wanted me to be president because she always believed, I could just do all this stuff.
Yes.
But what I wanted was to have a business where I could raise my children in it the same way I was raised in it. And I have such a heart for health, real health, not treatments, but that preventative health. And so that's really where my passion and my heart is. And so it just went hand in hand with what I wanted in my life and what I wanted to do with my life. And so she basically let me work and run the shop for free, almost for free, for 5 years as our kind of deal to eventually be able to own the shop. So I never actually had to pay for the ownership of the shop to buy it, but I worked for very little bit.
You put your sweat equity into it.
Yes, most definitely. So it allowed me to become a business owner without having to put any money or debt into it. So it has been such a blessing. I can't even tell you. I mean, honestly, the shop, not only is it like just a wonderful place to be, and it's great because we do so much for the community in terms of provide things that are not offered in Greenville.
Right.
I mean, granted, Walmart sure does try sometimes, but we're very lucky to be able to have foods and that are allergy free and to have supplements that are third party tested. So I know that they're safe and trustworthy. And so I love that. I love that there's passion behind what I do and what I sell. That's important to me.
I love being able to call you and say, hey, I have this going on.
Yeah.
What do you think I should take? Or, hey, this was recommended. What do you think about
Right.
it? And Jackie's great about that, too.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot imagine. We could not have the shop without Miss Jackie. She does so much for us.
She's so knowledgeable.
She is.
And
She
just nurtures you. Like, you walk in and, she wants to take care of you and help you. And I love seeing, where you've grown. And it's funny, when I met you in 2003 and you were all about the health and, you didn't drink water that was cold. You always drank room temperature water. And, I was like, I don't understand this life. And now here I am. I'm like, I'm fine drinking room temperature water. I prefer it a lot of times. And so I'm like, I think of you often when I'm drinking my water, actually.
So funny.
But it was such a different way. You didn't really eat sugar back then either. And so, I mean, you have always walked the walk. And it's really,
well, I was
truly
raised that way.
It's become you.
Yeah.
And the same for your kiddos. I try not to ruin Jack when he comes over to the house.
No, that's the thing. Going to friends' houses and going to grandparents' houses, that's when they should get to enjoy all the stuff, all the junk. But the rest of the life needs to be pretty, healthy.
And that makes it where you can maintain that.
Oh,
and
most
it's sustainable.
definitely. Yes. Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So you have the Sunshine Shop, and then you also have the core. Yeah. How did that come about? Which is CrossFit. I know I say the core, I leave the other part out, but it's CrossFit.
Yep.
I want you to tell about it, but I have some things that I love about it too.
Okay. Well,
how did it come about?
The idea of the Paleo Diet, I got really into it to help my own health issues. I have severe migraines, and so I put our entire family on. We did the Whole30, which is a very strict elimination diet, and found that made a huge improvement in my migraines. Jack was very little at the time, and he had kind of some attention focus issues, and that seemed to really kind of work well with him. And so then I slowly got more involved in, what foods need to go into our body that are actually right for each one of us, because everybody's body is different. Everybody needs something different, or it needs to be tweaked in a little way. And so I started digging deep and studying it. Well, in the midst of that, I came across lots of blogs, lots of information about CrossFit, and I didn't know what that was. I've never been athletic. I mean, you know this. I did not like to play sports in school. I've always been very...
You didn't want to sweat.
Yeah, I didn't like to sweat. Yeah, I like to sit and read and not do anything. I don't want to move, or I didn't. And so I thought, well, I could check out what this CrossFit thing is, because then I'll be able to market to them. Those people, they're going to want, what we've got at the Sunshine Shop. So it was a business move. And we started going to CrossFit and loved it, loved the idea of doing classes and being a part of a community. I loved the fitness side of it, which shocked me. I liked feeling strong and capable, and all of a sudden it almost overtook me in terms of, I became almost obsessive over it. And Levi and I basically decided, well, we want to do this with the Sunshine Shop. The two would go so well together. And so we did. We started the core, which the affiliate name is CrossFit Mockingbird. So CrossFit is the kind of umbrella brand. And then you have to have an affiliate name in order to be able to use the word CrossFit in any of your marketing. So we go by the core just because that's who we are as a people group, I guess. And then
it's kind of your umbrella for all of it.
Yes,
for the whole thing.
Yeah, because within the core we do nutrition coaching, we do CrossFit, we do personal training. I would love to add, yoga and different things into it too. So we
need that. Will you please add it?
I would love to do that. I need a bigger space in order to do that, though, because CrossFit takes up the majority of our class time. And so I need a bigger space for that.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Hey, do you know a realtor?
I do. She's always working hard for me.
I know. I'm going to find you that space.
I know. I would love to.
That's really cool. So you decided to launch the core.
But with the specific target of, we wanted to make CrossFit seem not scary. Because it was very scary for me to even just try it. And I was going at it with a very business mindset. I'm not really going to do this or be into it. And in fact, I remember my very first workout was handstand push-ups and pull-ups. Oh. And that was mind-blowing. I couldn't even do a sit-up. I'm not even kidding. I could not do a sit-up. And to see these people doing pull-ups and handstand push-ups, I was like, whoa, that's way out of my element. I will never be able to do that. And now I see other people have that same fear. And so that has been our whole focus, is we don't ever expect you to walk through the door and be able to do even a push-up. We're going to start with progressions and move you through that. And so I think being a woman and owning a CrossFit gym makes it a little bit different because I see that fear. I know what it's like to be a woman and to not necessarily be athletic, but to still want to be in shape. And so I wanted to use the core to kind of make CrossFit feel safer and easier in a sense and more comfortable. And then we're all about family at the core. I mean, we have so many kids, and I really do. I think that's one of the best parts is you come in and the coach has a stroller and he's pushing that stroller back and forth so that mom can get the workout in, and we have a kids room for the kids, ages basically into all ages, and we have a babysitter during 2 of the class times so that the littler ones can go in there and the moms can work out. Like, that has always been my focus is I want moms and dads to be able to work out together if they want to, and not have to get a babysitter for that. And I want moms particularly. I'm all about the mom. I want moms to be able to have that hour. I mean, I experienced that with Jack and Addie when they were younger, that I needed something that was mine. And I kind of lost myself in those toddler years of, I was just a mom and I was just trying to figure out, who I was. And I was so grateful to have that opportunity to like, okay, this is something I love to do. This is what I'm passionate about. And so I want to give other moms that option. Plus, it's just nice to do something for you that gives you that space to be able to be who you need to be for those kids, or for your husband or whatever. So that's our focus is it's very family focused, and we wanted to kind of just take that fear out of CrossFit.
I love that so much. And it just stems from who you are. That is your heart to be a mom. And I love what you said about, giving those moms a chance to get out of their normal routine and go and be a part and be with other women and other families and really grow up together. I've watched a lot of the core families. They help each other out and, they're picking up each other's kids if they need to. And you really do have something special with the core.
Oh, most definitely.
And I do love it too, because when CrossFit came out, it just seemed like a bodybuilding type activity, which was really cool and really amazing that people could do that. But I love that you took the element of, it doesn't have to be about the bodybuilding. It's about the health.
Oh,
and,
yes.
I just remember feeling like you were a warrior. Like, you went through so much, because I knew you as the person who wanted to like read and sit on the couch. And then you started working out and getting sweaty. And then you started, your body started changing. You started being able to do all these amazing things. But you've always been humble about it. Like, you've never boasted about your abilities to do that. And
well, that's because you should see the other athletes. That I am not the best athlete at all.
But you are athletic. Like, that's
I am now
and
athletic,
you weren't before, and I love that. And it is so empowering that
is.
you can start doing push-ups, you can start doing sit-ups, and doing all the different things that you do. So it is a family-friendly environment, and I love that. And when I tell people that about having CrossFit here, I tell them we have multiple, but they're all unique in their own way.
Oh, most definitely.
And so I love that you bring in the family aspect of everyone doing that together.
Yes. I do think that that's really important too, is that CrossFit can be done in so many different ways, and you just need to find the right gym for you, because like we have some pretty strict rules on like you must keep your shirt on kind of thing. And that's because I want everybody to feel comfortable while they're in there. But you have real competitive athletes and they're like, oh my gosh, if I had to wear a shirt while I'm like sweating and dying, I need to take that shirt off. There's other gyms for that. And I think that's a wonderful thing that you can find really where you fit in.
Right.
With all these different options that are available.
That's great. I love how you know who you are and you know who your clients are and you serve to that.
Yeah.
So where do you guys go from here? Do y'all have any other big plans that you can talk about? I know you and Levi are always dreaming. Y'all, I know he's your rock. And
yeah. Yes and no. So with COVID hitting, it kind of slowed everything down. Right before COVID, we had these, big dreams of we've maxed out capacity in our building that we're in now, and so we had this big plan to do something bigger and grow, and then COVID hit, and that was very difficult. When you have a business where people need to actually be there in order to, get what you're serving.
Right.
But we actually were very fortunate, and so many members continued to stay on with us through that entire time where we were shut down. But right now we're just trying to pick things back up and get back up to that max capacity point.
Right.
And then we'll see where God wants us. And we pray constantly that if this is all he wants, if he just wants us to serve 160 people within, this little CrossFit community, then that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it the very best of our ability. And our core values are love others, strive for wholeness, and affect the world. And I don't feel like
that.
Yeah, I love those
awesome.
too. Yeah. But I don't feel like we're limited with that number or with our building. I don't feel like God is ever limited by a space or a number. And so I believe that he can use us in whatever way he wants within our limitations.
Yes.
And I'm excited to just be able to see where he wants us to go. And if he wants us to stay, then I'm all about staying and doing whatever he has for us.
Oh, I love your heart about that. And I know that's not always easy, and that is why you have to pray about it often, because for God's will and for you to know when to go and when to stay and all of that. Well, Jessica, I love that so much. And I'm so glad you've gotten to share your story about the core and about the Sunshine Shop. I want to talk about one more thing before we wrap up.
Okay.
It's not your question yet. Almost.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Because we haven't talked about what you love about Greenville, and we're on Heart of Greenville, so we need to talk about what does Jessica Pope love about Greenville?
Yeah. Levi and I grew up here, and our parents grew up here, and we never wanted to leave. This was always home, and we never, some people grow up and when they're in school and they're like, as soon as I graduate, I'm getting out of here. And that was never us. Yeah, that was you. I remember. Yes.
It was, but here I am.
Yep, here you are. And I think you might love it more than anybody.
Okay, that might be true.
Might be true. But we've always been very planted here, and we're so fortunate because our families have had very good businesses here. I mean, my great-granddaddy had the pool hall downtown.
What?
Yeah. And then Levi's family owns Crawford Smith, and, my Mimi had this shop. And so this community, Greenville, has done such an amazing job at supporting our little heritage. And so I'm so grateful for that. And I think, we've been so lucky with the people. I mean, it's the community here. And with the storm that just we just experienced, I think that is proof enough of how incredible this town is, because we had our propane filled twice, and we were able to make a phone call, immediately to Kelly when our water heater exploded, and he got us a new one immediately. And that's because we have connections, and this community is so willing to step up for one another. And that's what I love about Greenville. And I have no desire to ever leave. I think it's a wonderful place to raise our kids in and to be a part of that community.
I love that. So I know Addie's going to go off to be president someday, but do you want your children to stay here too, or do you hope that they leave and go away and then come back?
We actually have a rule that when they go to college, they have to be at least 4 hours away from us. So they have to choose a college where it's not so easy for them to come home. But then after that, I would love for them to just come back and settle here. Because, they're going to be incredible world changers. And so
they
can change the world from Greenville, Texas.
That's right. Yeah. I feel the same way about David. David's already talking about whenever he comes back and how he can help the school, and give back to Greenville Christian.
Yeah.
So I want to tell this one story, and then I'll ask your last question.
Okay.
So when we worked at Kinsey back in 2003, you and I would have these discussions. I graduated from Greenville High School. You graduated from Greenville Christian. And we would have these debates
and
over...
I was always better, right? Because of Greenville Christian?
Well...
You
did win the argument, obviously, because that's where I ended up going. But I just remember those discussions so much. But I remember your passion, and you would get so passionate about Greenville Christian and why that was so important. And I was passionate about why my kids needed diversity and other things. And so, but then when it came time, and it was time for David to go to school, I remember calling you and talking to you again about Greenville Christian, because when it came time to make that decision for real, where my kids were going to go, what I saw in your and Levi's marriage and what I saw how you were building your life, it had to come from somewhere, not just your family. And I knew it was from your foundation at Greenville Christian and the teachers that are there and the leadership. And so I want to say thank you for fighting for Greenville Christians, because it was the best decision we ever made to send our kids to Greenville Christian. So you have made an impact on my life all of these years. And so I'm so thankful that we got to sit down and do this together.
Well, and I feel the same. I mean, I can't imagine. You're my inspiration in so many things. I mean, when I feel tired and exhausted from doing all the juggling, I'm always like, but look at Denisha, what she's doing. So you're quite the inspiration. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, we're going to ask this final
that's
question.
right.
We have one more thing. So you chose the number 4. Tell me why you chose the number 4. That's not
you
your
said
question.
You said don't choose number 7, and I guess 4 just popped in my head.
That's what just popped in. I wondered if it had a meaning to you or not. So, okay, and the reason I say don't pick 7 is a lot of people pick 7. I'm like, so I want a diversity.
Yeah.
All right, number 4 is, what is your all-time favorite memory?
Oh my gosh,
See, I told you that was easy. I know, you wanted more time.
All-time favorite memory.
See, I told you would have a hard time narrowing it down. And if you want to give more than one, I'll let you give more than one.
I think the birth of, not Jack, because that was awful, but Addie and Henry. I love those memories, and I could live those days over and over and over again if I could.
Oh.
Jack's birth was terrifying. Maybe because it was the first one.
Well, and he had to go into the hospital, right?
Well,
Shortly
he
after?
had to have surgery, right after. So definitely the birth of Henry and Addie. And then, I don't know, Levi and I have so many sweet memories from dates and stuff, but one that I really love is he took me out on Dent Road, which is not Dent Road anymore.
Roy
but it was
Warren
Dent
Parkway
Road.
now.
And
It was a dirt road back
it
then,
was.
too.
It was a dirt road. And turned on the lights and played music, and because he was the DJ at our dance at the school, so I didn't have a date for that dance. So I was pretty upset about it. So to make it up to me, he took me out on Dent Road and turned on the music on his car, and we danced in front of the headlights. And then he gave me a pink pager. So that was a really big deal, because then you wore your pager on the outside of your pocket. And
Oh, our kids would die if they
oh my
realized
gosh,
that.
yes. Yeah, so that's a sweet memory.
That is such a sweet memory.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all just have one of the most precious marriages and are such a great example to everyone. Thank
you.
Well, I knew you wouldn't have a hard time with that question. So
Well.
thank you. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for opening up and sharing your heart and sharing your story. And
Yeah.
I want to thank you one more time for coming on the show. And also thank you so much for your friendship. And
Oh, same.
you are the friend who, if I want an honest answer, even if it's going to hurt my feelings, you will tell it to me. And that's priceless. I would much rather have that than someone who's going to tell me what I want to hear. And there have been many crossroads for me that I've come to you, and you always had the right advice. So thank you.
You're so welcome. I think that was God. I'm so glad God uses both of us in each other's lives. He's so good.
true. Well, Jessica, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching Heart of Greenville. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Greenville, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.